Well, what is happening, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? It is your boy, D-WIZZLE. Thank you, as always, for tuning back into the channel. And today, I have a Netflix movie review for you guys. Today, we're going to be talking about Wake Up Dead Man, the third installment of Rian Johnson's murder mystery Who Done It saga starring Daniel Craig. Finally, going to be talking about it. It is now available to watch on Netflix. It did have a limited release in theaters back in November of last year, but I'm finally able to sit down and talk about it with you guys. So let's get into this movie. So, the first Knives Out was a big surprise because when it comes to murder mysteries and whodunits, it's not my type of film. It's not a go-to type of genre for me. And obviously I was very skeptical going in because of, obviously the divisive Star Wars film that he created, Star Wars The Last Jedi. Like I was very split on that movie, and that film caused a huge divide in the Star Wars fandom. People are still arguing about The Last Jedi to this day. So I was very lukewarm to underwhelmed from Rian Johnson. I didn't really care to see much from him since then. But hearing the big buzz around this movie, like people were saying how great it was, and like people need to go see this, and this is saying something, especially with this coming out right after he made The Last Jedi. People are still, raving about his movie. So it's like, okay, it's got my curiosity. It also got my curiosity the star-studded cast that he was able to get for this movie, and freaking having Daniel Craig be the main detective with his foghorn leghorn accent. I'm like, what is this film? I'm like, you know what? Let me go see this. Let me see how it actually is, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. This is probably one of my favorite murder mystery movies to go see, which is not a lot. And this is me coming off of seeing other recent murder mystery films like Murder on the Orient Express or Death on the Nile, which honestly was not a big fan of. I love Kenneth Branagh; he directed those movies, but like those movies didn't really do much for me. But when it came to this was my jam. This is my jam. I don't know what it is about Knives Out that was so good. I don't know if it was just the personality that the movie had. Like it had a sense of energy. The cast was really good. Daniel Craig was great as Benoit Blanc. Like just all the pieces just really came together very well in that first movie. And then we about the whole deal with Netflix acquiring the rights to make two more Knives Out films on Netflix, giving Rian Johnson and Daniel Craig a combined profit of $400 million to make two more Knives Out films, and then they could keep a portion of the money for themselves. I'm like, that's crazy. Spending $400 million for Knives Out films. Like the first movie was good, but is it worth $400 million? I still don't think so. But then he made Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery that was on Netflix and also had a limited release in theaters. That movie was also great. I loved it almost as much as the first film, and I liked how different it was from the first film. Like it was like kind of like playing like anthologies where you had a different set of casts and you had a completely different conflict, a completely different environment, different dynamics, different mystery. Benoit Blanc's still great, so I thought the Glass Onion was great. So I obviously was really excited to see Wake Up Dead Man. Hearing the title for this movie, I was like, Wake Up Dead Man. That's a very interesting title, very similar to Glass Onion, because it's like, what's a glass onion? And then you find out what that actually is in the movie. They're like, oh, that makes sense. But Wake Up Dead Man, I was like, are we dealing with the undead here, or are there going to be zombies in this movie? Is we getting Halloween themed all of a sudden? Because I don't recall Knives Out having any supernatural stuff going on. If it is, but no, it's there's no supernatural stuff in this movie, which is fine. Which I think I'm glad that they're keeping a somewhat of a consistent, grounded tone with some silly antics here and there, which is fine. But once again, the cast was really good. I would say as far as compared to the other two casts, I think this one is probably my least favorite of the three so far, but still a great cast in general. I think I like the actors in the previous two movies a little bit more as all together, but this cast was still great. You had Josh Brolin, Glenn Close, Mila Kunis, Thomas Hayden Church, Kerry Washington, Jeremy Renner. At least I'm glad to see Jeremy Renner back in movies, especially after his accident that happened like a year or so ago. So glad to see him back. But still, the cast was still very, very good. Once again, walking in not knowing what this thing is, what is this mystery about. I like that I don't know everything going in because that's what a murder mystery should be. You shouldn't be able to tell what's going on by a trailer. So very excited to see this film. And unfortunately, I was not able to see this in theaters. I was able to see Glass Onion in theaters for the limited release, which I think is crazy that Netflix is only releasing these movies in like only like what about 600 theaters across the country, which is that's crazy. And only having like what is a week or two in theaters, like that's nuts. But I unfortunately was not able to see Wake Up Dead Man in theaters, which I'm very let down about. But at least I was able to see it on Netflix. At least there's a way to see it, and it didn't deter my thoughts on the movie in general because I loved Wake Up Dead Man. I thought it was great. Yeah, man, Ryan Johnson, he found his niche again. He found his niche. I think he works best when he's creating his own projects, and this is probably one of my favorite things from Ryan Johnson, if not probably my favorite thing from Ryan Johnson. Um, yeah, man, like I love how I love his take on the murder mystery aspect. It just he makes it feel more creative. He makes it feel more energetic. He's able to have some fun with it, and I'm actually, it's actually a good mystery. I'm not able to know instantly where the plot's gonna go or who actually is the culprit. I'm sure for people that are like scholars or whatever, like that read many books and does the stuff for a living or whatever. I'm sure they're able to tell like by the halfway through the film they probably could put the context clues together. And so I'm not saying that this is the most complex mysteries in the world because they're not, but for general moviegoers, general people that aren't into that stuff that much, or just have a general understanding of the murder mysteries and investigations, these movies do a good job keeping you on your toes for the most part. So I really like it because going in, I didn't really know what the mystery was going to be like. And actually knowing what the actual like murder is and like where the context of everything, like the way that they set it up in this movie, I was thinking to myself for a majority of the film, I have no idea how this is going to go. I don't even know how we got to this point. How is this even possible? How was a person able to set this up so perfectly and elaborately? Like it's impossible how these guys were able to do what they're able to do. But then Benoit Blanc does his thing, breaks down every little intricate detail like he's the modern day Sherlock Holmes, and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Seeing it all come together, I'm like, wow. I like the payoff when it comes to that. I love that stuff. It's great. Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc. Man, what can you say? What can you say? He's doing great with this role. And like, at first, I thought his accent. The first time I heard, I thought his accent was ridiculous, and now I'm getting to a point where I can't see him without that accent anymore. And it's like I'm taking his character seriously, even with that crazy accent. I'm like, I just love it. He has such charisma and personality. And I would say that's something I was kind of like apprehensive about with Daniel Craig at first because I'm coming off the James Bond films, watching him in that, and he's so super serious and all that stuff. So it's like it's nice to see him have a little bit more range when it comes to his roles, and just like this is starting to become my favorite role from Daniel Craig, like even more than James Bond. I would say he's not even my favorite James Bond, to be honest. He's a great Bond, but he's not, I wouldn't say he's my favorite James Bond. But him as Benoit Blanc, I think he found the role that matches him the best, as far as just getting a great performance out of him. I love it. I want to see like 5 more movies of of Knives Out with him in it. You know, I can't really see a Knives Out movie without Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc. Like that's how awesome he is in this. Um, then we have Josh Brolin, which he's pretty much the person we're focused on as far as the the murder mystery and stuff like that, and he was great, absolutely great. Um, him being like the head of a church and stuff like that, and him like taking advantage of other people as far as him being like the main pastor and putting his personal vendettas and anger and greed and lust and everything. So it's like you could tell that this movie's trying to do a commentary on the Catholic Church and how people take advantage of other people as far as their beliefs and stuff like that. So there's some hidden commentary in there for sure. But I didn't feel like it was heavy-handed. I kind of appreciated how he was implementing that into the story, making it feel natural. But I gotta say, Josh Brolin in this, what's his name, Jefferson in the movie. Jefferson Wicks, Pastor Wicks, whatever, Reverend Wicks, whatever his name is. He's a scumbag in this. He's an absolute scumbag. And there were parts of his performance where I was feeling like he was harnessing his inner Thanos a little bit. Like there was this monologue that he was giving to the rest of the cast. There's one scene, and I'm just like, the way he was commanding the room, the way he was interrogating people and like talking down to people, I saw Thanos in him a little bit. So I just like that was pretty cool to see. Andrew Scott as the one of the other main priests in here that we also follow throughout the story. I liked him. You know, Pastor Ross, Lee Ross, whatever. I thought he was good. Um, I thought it was cool seeing that he comes from a rough background. Like he used to be an underground boxer, and he got into trouble, and then he tried to reform his life and become a pastor. I thought, okay, that was cool. That was nice, and he's pretty much the main person that is working with Benoit Blanc, trying to figure out the mystery and stuff like that. So I thought he did pretty well working off of Benoit in the movie. So he was pretty cool. Glenn Close, absolutely great, absolutely great. Probably one of the best performances in the movie. Um, yeah, I thought she was absolutely awesome. And yeah, just seeing how she's just so distraught about the entire situation and trying to hold the church together and all the other stuff, and she's along with the rest of the cast. The rest of the cast are suspects, but it's like, you know, it's like they do a good job in general making all the suspects in the movie make it seem like, oh, they possibly could be part of it, but at the same time they couldn't be. So I like that for everyone in general. But yeah, Glenn Close's performance in this movie I thought was absolutely great. Mila Kunis was actually great too as the main sheriff of the movie. I didn't even know she was going to be in this film, but she did a good job as the sheriff as well. Like I thought she was pretty good. I like Mila Kunis. I enjoy her in a lot of stuff, except for Jupiter Ascending. Still not great in that, but I don't blame her necessarily. But yeah, I thought she was great as the main sheriff in this. Um, Kaylee Spaney, I didn't think was gonna be in this. She was the main girl in Alien Romulus, and I thought she was great in Alien Romulus, and so it was great to see her in this. And she's playing a disabled in a wheelchair. She was very good in this too. Thomas Hayden Church was also very good. Jeremy Renner, I thought was hilarious in this. His role was pretty good. I'm trying not to give stuff away for people that haven't seen it, but yeah, I thought he was pretty good. Like I like to see him work out his comedic chops a little bit more because like, he's actually legit funny in this, you know. But I like the chemistry that he has with the rest of the cast in this as well. Thought he was good, and Kerry Washington, like man, it's been a while since I've seen Kerry Washington in anything, so she was great as well. She actually has some really emotional moments in here as well, and yeah, I thought she was absolutely great. I'm dancing around stuff because like when you actually figure out the main culprit or who was involved in the stuff like that, like they really did a good job making it anonymous that anybody could be a part of it. So they did a good job there. Um, now that being said, I do think this is the weakest of the three Knives Out films. Like I enjoyed the previous two more, but I still think this is a great movie. I love it. This is a worthy successor of the first two, and I'm this is definitely going to be in the conversation when you're talking about some of the best trilogies in film. I have to put this in here. I had to put this in here. Like all three Knives Out films were great, like consistent quality all the way through. And even when I say this is my least favorite of the three, it's really just based on preference, you know. I do appreciate that it was trying to get more towards the grounded nature that we had from the first movie because Glass Onion was trying to be a little bit more of a spectacle, had a little bit more action set pieces in there. So, but yeah, I still enjoyed that for Glass Onion, but like I did appreciate that they were trying to make it more grounded again. But as far as the mystery itself, well, I thought the mystery that they handled in here was really well done, well written. I I like the mystery of the first two a little bit more, just a little bit more. I liked the dynamics they were putting in the first two a little bit more. I had more entertainment from that, but it's not taken away with how great this one was. And I would say the pacing. No, I'll take that back because I think the pacing of all three are pretty consistent. You know, so it's really based off of preference. But probably yeah, the main reasons why I think this is my least favorite is because I just like the mysteries of the first two a little bit more. And the cast. I said earlier that I think the casts in the first two movies are a little bit more entertaining to watch overall as a collective than this movie. Like the cast in here is still really good, but I just more blown away with a little bit more blown away by the cast that they were able to get from the first two movies. If that makes any sense, but those are really my only gripes. I don't really have any major issues with this movie, you know. Yeah, there was probably a couple of silly dialogue here and there that was probably a bit unnecessary. You know, Ryan Johnson likes to put weird dialogue in here, and there's some kind of kooky antics here and there that I was like, oh, what the heck? That like the tone, it kind of messed with the tone a little bit. But once again, I think that's a Ryan Johnson thing, and that's something that happened in the first two movies as well. Like he likes to put his kooky humor in here and there. But other than that, those are really the only like issues that I really had with it. I still think this movie is great. One of my favorite movies of the year. I really wish I was able to see this in theaters, but it is what it is. You know, at least I'm glad that I was able to see it anyway, and I still was able to enjoy it as much as I did. Um, but yeah, Daniel Craig was still great as Benoit Blanc. Josh Brolin was great. Mila Kunis, Glenn Close, Thomas Hayden Church, Kaylee Spaney, Jeremy Renner, Kerry Washington. Everybody brought in their A game when it comes to this movie and the murder mystery, how everything was crafted, how everything was written, the reveal, keep you on your toes. Loved it. Still thought it was great from start to finish. So I will give Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery, a solid A. Great film. Watch it if you haven't already. If you're a fan of the first two Knives Out films and you haven't seen this movie, what are you doing? What are you doing? But anyway, those are my thoughts on Wake Up Dead Man. What did you guys think about it? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? How does this compare to the first two Knives Out films? Comment your thoughts down below and let me know. So I don't think there's any plans of them making any more Knives Out films after this, but obviously Netflix could change the deal and renew it and get a couple more. If these are the only Knives Out films that we'll be getting this trilogy, I am completely satisfied with these three. But I am definitely open to seeing more Knives Out movies if Ryan Johnson and Daniel Craig wants to do it. You know, because like they could do a lot more after this. They could keep going to different environments and keep getting different casts. Like that's what keeps these movies fresh, in my opinion. So whatever they decide to do, I'll be up for it. If you guys enjoyed this review, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the bell if you want to be notified on future videos I'll be doing. But that's all I have for you Knives Out fans, and I will catch you guys next time. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.